Chavo Guerrero.
That's it.
How do you introduce someone like Chavo Guerrero Jr.? I mean,
just say it.
you just say Chavo Guerrero Jr.
Ooh, Chavo. Chavo, todo nombre.
That's it.
Or you can say, I mean, I know you didn't have a swing set in the backyard. I knew you had a wrestling ring.
I did have a wrestling ring.
Most wrestling fans know that you've had over a dozen championships.
I don't even know how many I've had.
So many you don't even know.
I don't even know.
The Guerreros, legendary family, over 75 years of wrestling in the family.
I think we're up to 80 now.
I'm going to try my very best to not ask you the same questions that you've had like thousands of times, but that's kind of hard for someone like you.
You know what? It's a funny story. Not only, we have both sides of my family are wrestlers.
Yeah.
So with the Guerrero side, we also have the Yanez side. So my grandmother actually met my grandfather because she went to go see her brother, who was a wrestler, ended up meeting his rival, who was my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
And and her brother, who was my great uncle, Enrique Yanez in Mexico. He was became the Howard Cosell of Mexico.
Oh, wow.
So,
both
sides of the family. Yeah, we got a lot. We're probably 16, 20 wrestlers in the family.
That makes for exciting holidays, get-togethers.
It's like a pay-per-view. our holidays are like a pay-per-view. It's like you got the opening match, you got the mid-card, and you got the main event. Someone's fighting somebody. Someone's getting drunk and going off.
Someone's getting crazy. Grandma's doing elbow drops off the table.
As soon as Grandma gets mad, then
look out.
Then we all shut up. Yeah.
You started in WCW 1996-ish?
Yes, that is when I started full time. That's when I say I started, because before that you really, you wrestling here and there and that certain stuff. But I say I began my wrestling career when I got to the big leagues in 1996, WCW.
All right, now your writing partners at that time, Chris Benoit, Eddie, of course, Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko. Now, I've spent many times, many hours in vans traveling with people, crammed together, same people every day. Who annoyed you the most? Who drove you nuts? Who knew the buttons to push? Was it Jericho? I know it was Jericho.
I love Jericho because he's awesome and we got along really, really well, but he's an only child.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not. So he was, we'd be rooming together sometimes, and if I'm walking around with my belt undone and it's clanking too much, he's like, "Hey, bro, can you take your belt off?" I'm like, "Really? Stop being a bitch." But there were some things I'm sure that bothered me of him, but he's an only child, so he was used to getting his way, so for sure.
A little spoiled.
Yeah, I love you, Chris. I love you.
I love Chris too. Fozzie.
He's great.
Fozzie.
I know, Fozzie's awesome. I was there when they were talking about starting Fozzie as a joke. They're like, "Hey man, let's do a group, and we'll do just the B-side, just like the B-sides, just the songs that nobody knew, and we'll say that that those were our songs, that they stole them from us," and that's how they started. So they just did it as a joke, and it was fun. And they did another one, and before they know it, like PV's calling them and starting to sponsor them and stuff. And they're like, "Wait a minute, this is Fozzie, not Ozzy, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, we know."
You recently worked with my girl, Kate Nash.
Kate Nash, I love her to death.
I love Kate Nash.
She's so awesome.
We love you to death, Kate Nash.
What was cool is that when I started training on Glow, that's when I started working with Kate, I'm training 14 girls, 12 actresses and 2 stunt girls. A lot of them were never athletic, so we kind of just had to tap into their inner strength, And
I was going to say, what challenges was it? I mean, these are girls that weren't even really wrestling fans.
Right, they never didn't know how to get in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just kind of like, what is this?
The funniest thing was because I've been a huge wrestling fan since I was 4.
Right.
And it was either going to be, I was going to be a wrestler or I was going to be a musician. Drumming started to work out, so stuck with that. Awesome. But, so Kate was like, "You're never going to believe what I'm doing." I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm going to be a wrestler." I was like,
"Get out of here.
You're not going to be a wrestler." So her first day of training, she texts me and she's like, "Yeah, I have this really cool guy training me. His name's Chaavvvo." And I was like, I said, "Chavo who?" And she goes, "I don't know his last name." And so I went and I Googled your picture and I said, "It's not him, is it?" And she goes, "Yeah, that's that's my trainer. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, you have no idea who you're training with right now. I was like, this is a legend.
That's awesome. And vice versa, I didn't really know the girls were, and on purpose, I didn't Google them or anything for at least 2 or 3 weeks in, just so I got to know them, who they were, stuff. And then all of a sudden, I was starting googling them, and I'm like, oh my god, this girl's a rock star. This one's an awesome stand-up comedian. These girls are other comedians. I'm like, they're all talented. This one's a dancer. They're all like great actresses and just super talented. So it was really cool to get to know them before I marked out on them all.
Right. And then the only wrestler was Awesome Kong, right?
Awesome Kong Kia, that was the only wrestler. And I knew her as Awesome Kong, but I never knew her as Kia. So I just knew her as this stud, this girl that was just this killer. And then all of a sudden she comes in and she's all, hi, how are you? She's so sweet. I'm like, is this the same girl? What the heck? But she's awesome.
And then your Uncle Mondo was the original trainer, right? On Glow in the 80s?
The original trainer.
How weird is that? Like 31 years later, now you're training.
It's pretty cool. It's a cool little thing, man. It's kind of like it all comes around full circle.
So we found this little gem.
Yes.
Warriors Creed.
Yes.
How does one become the star of their own comic book series?
So, Warriors Creed, available from Lion Forge Comics. Available at comic book stores all over.
Get it.
This is the story, I was in Vegas, and I was with Rampage Jackson, the MMA fighter, and he had a comic book through Lion Forge, and out of the blue, we were just kind of walking down there, and I hear Quentin. He looks over, and it's the guy he's talking to, and he goes, hey, Chaavvvo, this is David Stewart. He's the owner of Lion Forge Comics, who does my comic book. I'm like, oh, hey, man, how you doing? We talked for a minute, no big deal. That was it. Next thing you know, I think Rampage calls me and goes, hey, can I give David your number? I'm like, absolutely. He calls me and he goes, hey, man, would you be interested in starting a comic book? I'm like, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Absolutely cool. They had Fabian Nescenza, who's one of the main creators of Deadpool. He created that and wrote this book also.
Amazing.
And then Eddie Nunez is like an awesome,
so that's
awesome
super cool.
illustrator. So it's pretty cool, man. I was pretty excited, man. I had some collaboration on it, but they kind of took it around.
We'll have that close up at the end of the show.
For sure.
This is awesome. All right, this question comes from Monty. Monty says...
The full Monty.
Monty says, some fans look at your comedy run with Hornswoggle as a low point, even though you were getting significant TV time. How do you look back on that run? And also, how cool was it to get beat up by Bob Barker?
There was a stretch that, I did in WWE, in the wrestling career, that I was a little person. We call them midgets in pro wrestling, but I know in the real world that's not
little people.
That's not technically correct.
Little people, big
world.
But
they even call themselves midgets in wrestling. They're like, it's not called small people wrestling. It's called little people wrestling. It's called midget wrestling. I said, all right, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
So it just kind of came about. We started doing some stuff together, and you go from they're not always writing for. They're writing for John Cena, they're writing for Undertaker. They're not always writing for other people. So you kind of got to take what you got and just kind of make the best of it.
Yeah.
And I've done that a lot in my career, if you've seen it. You kind of make, what they say, chicken soup out of chicken shit.
I always look at it as at least you're working. At least you're still working.
So that's it, basically. So that you're not always gonna. If it was up to us that we were writing our own storylines, well, yeah, sure, we're all good with the champs.
Of course.
But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? So
you don't always need to play the champ.
Exactly. I got beat up by Bob Barker, which was a pretty cool thing. At that time, I was kind of working with all the celebrity guest hosts. I did some stuff with Cedric the Entertainer, Bob Barker, Snoop Dogg, Ricky Hatton, Ken Jeong. And that was kind of like every guest host they had, I did something with Maria Menounos. So I kind of created some relationships doing stuff with these guys. So like Snoop Dogg comes touring, a lot of times I'll get a call from his manager, hey man, you want to come to the concert? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I would never have really met them if I was not doing that kind of run. Yeah. But you just kind of you take what you got sometimes, you just run with it.
I do the same thing as a musician. It's like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. I'll do that gig.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Monty, for sending in your question for This Is Awesome. Full Monty. Thanks, Full Monty. You're a car guy.
I am a car guy.
I have seen pictures of you online with that beautiful 63 Impala. Is that yours?
60 ragtop, yes.
That's your ragtop. I kind of grew up with some beautiful muscle cars as well because my uncle is a collector.
Oh, nice.
And he had like 6 Chargers.
Ooh, gosh,
and I mean, gorgeous. And he does car detailing as well. Like orange. My favorite was his pumpkin, which is orange and black.
Oh, nice.
72 Rally.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And my grandpa had a 66 Chaavvvo convertible.
Oh, Chaavvos, yeah.
Blue Marina.
Convertible. Wow,
Yeah.
that's rare.
So what is your dream car, make, model, year? What would that be?
I got it. So
You got it?
My dream car was, this is the first car that me and Eddie ever came out in
Yeah.
on TV. It's a 63 SS Impala convertible.
Yeah.
We came out in it. School was awesome. It was a green color at the time. John Cena ended up buying it from the guys who were there. And then after Eddie passed, John Cena comes up to me and goes, "Hey, I got something for you," and he gave it to me.
Oh wow.
So then after that, I had a frame off restoration. It's you can eat off the bottom of that thing. I had it basically like the show Overhauling. I had that done, and they replaced everything. I had the engine rebuilt and painted, and I mean everything. The thing's it's immaculate. It really
Nice.
is. So thank you, John. Appreciate that.
Glow.
Yes.
Not the only show that you have on Netflix.
It is not.
The groundbreaking El Rey network, Lucha Underground.
Yes.
You play a big role in Lucha Underground with like backstage stuff as well. You did the writing, production, as well as wrestling. What effect do you think that Lucha Underground has had on the bigger promotions? And I mean, WWE has got to be paying attention.
Absolutely. If you look at WWE's product, they're kind of integrating some stuff that we do on Lucha Underground.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We when they approached me to do the show and we kind of started talking and we both came to the conclusion there was a producer role in it.
Yeah.
I was like, we can't be the same. To me, and I've said this before, WWE is like Coca-Cola. They're the Coca-Cola brand. They're the Coca-Cola of wrestling. Everything else, another cola is like RC Cola. They're just like they're a knockoff, a cheap knockoff. So if you see wrestling, they're all trying to be like WWE, and it's just you can't. It's just they're too big. So we wanted to do something different. We wanted to make a different beverage, a Red Bull, if you want. It's still a beverage. It's just different.
We here at Heavy Wrestle, we're huge fans of Lucha Underground, and we really appreciate the fact that we see, a lot of our SoCal wrestlers, because we go to all the indie shows and stuff, so we see Willie Mack, Lil Cholo, Famous B,
You are a
Brian
fan.
Cage.
You really are a fan. That's great. That's awesome.
We go to wrestling shows.
I
We're
love
going
it.
tomorrow. We're going tomorrow.
Really?
Going to a show tomorrow.
I love it.
Yeah, we go all the time, so it's really cool to see those guys getting a chance, like this huge opportunity to have their talent elevated on the show.
I love this business and respect this business very, very much. So the only way that it's going to survive and continue to grow is by teaching the new young talent. I'm not the future of wrestling, at least not on camera. In the ring, it's these young guys coming up, so we have to teach them what is right and what's wrong. And then they're going to make their own style. And then wrestling at the same time evolves, so it's going to change a little bit for sure, But I'm a big fan on giving back, And what's different in wrestling now is that when I came up in wrestling, there was a lot of different generations teaching you. And when I mean generations, I don't mean, father, son, grandfather. I mean, your wrestling career is very short. It's, 4 to 10 years. So there was, a lot of guys that were 10 years in at different spans. So from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s. So I learned from 4 or 5 different generations. There's not too much, that's not around too much anymore. You don't have a lot of guys teaching you like that. So I'm trying to teach them what I learned from all those generations and kind of teach them what, at the same time, wrestling evolves, so you can't grab a headlock for 5 minutes anymore. It's changed. But at the same time, sometimes they're just doing high spot, and all these flips when it doesn't mean anything. So we're trying to get them to understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. And that
I was going to say, do you feel like people get pushed through
absolutely
too fast as well?
Absolutely.
Like it's all about the show and explosions.
The problem I see now with wrestling, and I'll say WWE just because it's there. You didn't get to WWE back in the day until you were at least 10 years in. That was you're at the pinnacle of your career. Now you almost start your career there. People they're wrestling at 2 years in there.
Absolutely.
That never happened. It never happens. So you almost start your career there and then you leave and go somewhere else. It's kind of changed. So if you see the matches, and nothing against the guys, 'cause I'm a huge fan of the wrestlers, they're doing moves just to do moves. There's no story, there's no
I was
passion.
gonna say there's not the same story as when I started watching wrestling.
Yeah, there's no passion. So I compare it to, like movies, the same movie. So I saw the first Transformers movie. My kids wanted to see it, so I went and saw it. After the first 30 minutes of explosions, I was like, all right, I get it. Explosions, I got it. Now, tell me a story. Take me on a ride.
Yeah.
Well, at one point, Shia LaBeouf's partner dies, and they have sad music, and he's all sad, and they want you to feel bad. And it's like, I don't give a shit. It's too late. I don't care about this guy.
There was no connection.
There's no connection. I was like, okay, there's explosions. Okay, cool, great. Well, a lot of wrestling's like that now. It's just explosions, high, moves, great move, awesome move, great move, flip, this, through, big bump.
Yeah.
But there's no connection. You're not tied to the wrestlers. So when you see like an Undertaker wrestle Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, you get enthralled in that match. And they don't have to do flips just to get you going there.
Yeah.
They're telling a story and they get you involved in that match. And when all of a sudden, like
Undertaker does like one move. Says more.
I do. Let's say Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. Do you remember that WrestleMania match? At the very end, when Ric Flair's like standing up and he's falling, and Shawn Michaels looks at him and says, "I'm sorry," and super kicks him. It was like, oh man, that was crazy. That
still
was
gives me chills.
awesome.
I'm like, oh my god, it's like that's one of the best moments. It's like chills.
It's like
still chills when I watch that.
Yeah, man, it gives me chills right now. But that's what wrestling's about.
Yeah, and when he grabs his head when he covers him for the pin.
Yeah, it's like wrestling. We use the moves to tell the story, but the moves are not the story. Get it? And that's what we have to, I think, get back to. And it's changed a little bit because TV time's changed. They have 5 minutes.
Do you think we would ever get back to that?
Yeah. It's there. It's an art form. Yeah. And I think the art form is dying a little bit.
What do you guys look for in signing people to Lucha Underground?
It's different because, we don't get a lot of time. We don't get, 20-minute matches a lot of time. Or we're not doing house shows. So we're looking for somebody, we're playing, it's a TV show. Yeah. That's what we're doing, it's a TV show. It's not a wrestling company like WWE, it's a little different. We're doing a TV show. All we're trying to do is get you to watch next week's TV show. WWE is trying to get you to go to their live events or buy their network. Right. It's two different, it's apples and oranges, it's not the same. So we're just looking for somebody who can play that character that we want them to play the way we want them to play it.
Toughest guy or girl in the ring?
The toughest guy was Ming Tonga. You know Tonga Ming? That was the toughest guy. Nobody, you couldn't mess with him. Really? He was a nice guy, but nobody tried him. All right. Nobody tried him. Ron Simmons, he was another one. Oh yeah. Damn. I know this is a rapid story. This is a rapid fire, but I'll give you a really rapid fire story.
Hey, however you want it.
Rapid fire story. The Steiners are notorious for beating people up and kind of messing with people, and
Bay City, Michigan.
That's right, and they're awesome. They're great, but in the back, they would mess with people, tie them up and tape them up and put a Sharpie up their ass. I don't know. They used to do some different weird things. Well, one time Ron's sitting there and he's combing his hair. People. Now I can cuss on this, right? Yeah. So good, because he's combing his hair, doing something, and they go, "Hey Ron, how come the Steiners never fuck with you?" And he goes, "Because I'm unfuckable."
Superman or Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Beer of choice?
805.
Celebrity crush?
Oh gosh, I don't have too many celebrity crushes. It'd have to be like. It's a tough one. I don't need. Who do I really like right now? You know what? Elizabeth Hurley. Classic.
That is a class act. If you were a Seinfeld character, which one would you be?
Kramer. I'm kind of crazy at that. Yeah.
Favorite musical artist?
Foo Fighters.
What do you eat on your cheat day?
Well, I kind of have a lot of cheat days. I'm a pizza guy. I love pizza. I love Mexican food. Come on. Yes. Pastas. Anything carby.
Me too.
A ton of sushi.
Same. I eat Mexican food like every day.
I know. I do too.
I always tell my friends I'm Mexican.
I know.
First concert.
Night Ranger.
Nice.
Night Ranger was my very first concert. That's
Classic
crazy, right?
rock.
Yeah, totally.
What music do you work out to?
Something harder, definitely like something rocky or old school rap, Biggie or Tupac, something like that stuff. Yeah.
Back to classic cars, classic.
I'm a classic guy.
Music.
I'm a classic guy.
Classic
women.
Yeah, I was just gonna say classy ladies. If you were in a band, what would your job be?
Guitarist.
We hear you play a little bit.
No,
Are you gonna do a solo for us here?
But not good enough to do that.
All
But
right.
yeah.
Maybe when we cut.
There we go.
Give us your best Dumb and Dumber quote.
Whoa, his head fell off. Oh, he was getting a little old. That one, right?
Chavo Guerrero, ladies and gentlemen. Chavo, about to close it up. Anything that you want to say?
No, just keep, thank you always for supporting the Guerrero family, La Familia Guerrero. I always appreciate
Viva
it.
Raza.
Yeah, that's right. We, just there's a lot more to come from Chaavvo. Just kind of starting, transitioning from my wrestling career into my acting Hollywood career. So
I was going to say we're going to close it up, but on that note, you have production company, clothing line, tons of stuff happening.
Tons of stuff. You know what?
Hustling, always keeping it moving.
What I learned from wrestling is that I was consumed with wrestling for a long time. So wrestling was here. But once wrestling kind of started leaving, well, the nest egg starts leaving a little bit too. So now I diversify. Now I have a bunch of different things, and it all comes down to here.
You don't need to be boxed into just
If
wrestling.
this thing starts slacking or stops, then I'll replace it with something else.
That's right.
That's
I feel the same way.
diversifying.
Hello, wrestling. Heavy wrestle.
That's it.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. It's been awesome talking to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And always remember, Viva la Raza.